Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. It's a real pleasure and it's an honor. My name is Dr. Alfred Hauk, and I'm the chair of the Board of Brantwood Community Services. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to welcome you this morning for this special announcement. My welcome is extended to the people we support at Brantwood, their families, Brantwood board members, and employees, our Ministry of Community and Social Services, Program Supervisor Leanne Beebe, who is here today, support staff from the ministry, federal representative Christina Haddad, who's here, from Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the Honourable Dave Levac, Minister of Provincial Parliament, and special guest, the Honourable Helena Jasek, Ontario's Minister of Community and Social Services. So thank you all for being here, and I would now like to call upon Joanne Link, who is our Executive Director, to say a few words. So.
Good morning, everybody. What a beautiful day and a really nice day to have all of you here this morning. We're delighted to have you. Brantwood is a not-for-profit community agency that provides services and supports to people with developmental disabilities who also may have health or other special complex needs. We make a difference in the lives of people who have disabilities by actively supporting new possibilities for people that lead to a fulfilled life. The community agency we are today has helped people transition from institutional life to community living. We have earned a reputation with the people we support, our community partners, funders, and families as an agency that provides leadership to identify and respond to the evolving needs of transitional age youth and adults with a developmental disability. Hi, Matthew. We are pleased to benefit from the funding announcement this morning that aims to improve and preserve the quality of social housing in the province. Our group living locations on Beckett, McBride, Kershaver Terrace, and Dundas Street will be receiving some new flooring and 23 XY lifts. This is important as the new flooring and lifts will improve accessibility by providing individuals who use wheelchairs safe access to all areas of their homes. We would like to express our sincere thanks to the federal and provincial governments, the Ministry of Community and Social Services for the funding we are receiving today. It is now my pleasure to introduce Christina Haddad, Regional Vice President of Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Honourable Jean-Yves Duclos, Minister of Families, Children and Social Development, and Minister responsible for Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. Minister Duclos could not be here today, but I was asked to extend his greetings and to say a few words on his behalf. I know everybody here is passionate about Brantford and this entire region. We share the goal of ensuring that people in communities across Ontario have access to safe, affordable, and stable housing. And that's why we're here today. Through the Social Housing Improvement Program, dozens of social housing initiatives throughout the province of Ontario will be able to make the upgrades necessary to improve and maintain their developments. For example, right here where we stand, the Brantwood Residential Development Centre will receive a total of $192,000 for a series of installations of ceiling lifts to help with lifting and supporting residents here. These upgrades will help the Brantwood Residential Development Centre provide better services to its residents. So congratulations on that. There are many others throughout our great province. Community Living Windsor received $14,851 for energy efficiency upgrades, reducing the costs associated with operating their site. And then way up in Moosonee, just a few kilometers south of James Bay, the James Bay Association for Community Living received $45,000 to replace aging siding and eave troughs. In all, the governments of Canada and Ontario have contributed a total of over $4 million to 46 different social housing initiatives throughout Ontario. That's a cause for celebration. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, affordable housing and helping seniors and families are priorities of the Government of Canada. The Government of Canada believes that all Canadians deserve access to housing that meets their needs and that they can afford. When it comes to building an inclusive society, where all Canadians have opportunities to succeed. Housing matters. Budget 2017 proposed housing investments of more than $11.2 billion over 11 years. Included is a commitment of $5 billion to a national housing fund that will address critical housing issues and better support vulnerable citizens. In addition, funding has been committed to make surplus federal lands available for the development of affordable housing, a unique strategy to help address the lack of housing supply. There is also a commitment to a renewed partnership between the federal government and the provinces and territories to better support shared housing priorities. This, after all, is a challenge that all levels of government must meet together. These investments and many others will be included as part of the National Housing Strategy, which will be released later this fall. The National Housing Strategy will help reduce core housing need and lift more Canadians out of poverty, contributing to strong and more inclusive communities. Today, we celebrate Brentwood Community Services and the work that they do in this community and in the dozens of social housing initiatives throughout Ontario that will receive funding, allowing them to improve their services and continue to help their clients and the communities. Thank you and enjoy the day. Thank you.
And we will now call upon MPP Honorable Dave Levesque.
Good morning, everybody. What a great day. $192,000 is nothing to sneeze at when it comes to the client care here. Let me begin by making a small note. To the staff and to the volunteers, particularly the board, thank you for doing God's work. This is an amazing facility, amazing home, amazing space to tell the people of Brant and surrounding areas that we care. So to the staff and to those volunteers, thank you for caring so much and allowing us to serve the way we should be serving. When you see the Canadian government, the Ontario government, not-for-profits, municipalities, all working together, nothing is insurmountable. Nothing. It's when we act alone and when we don't act together is when we don't get it right. So congratulations to all those involved in making this announcement today that allows us to be the best place to live, work, play, and raise a family. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I got a small story for you. In this very building is where I got permission to teach. I got my permission to teach because we had to get a lung x-ray to prove that we didn't have TB. And that's what this place was a long time ago. So the sanatorium allowed me to teach. So that actually led me to today. So it's all because of this building. I am where I am. So I want to thank you for that. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce the minister. Before I go through the 17-page explanation of who she is, I do want to tell you that Helena and I go back when she was first elected in 2007. And we have a person that has public service in her heart. A trained doctor, a volunteer in her community, someone that has done public health for 18 years, someone who has in her heart the capacity to see problems and fix them. And the fact that she's here today speaks volumes because of the questions she was asking and the comments that she was making on the tour. So I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to see some more improvements even beyond what the minister is talking about today. I want to provide you with a small, brief idea that she, at the age of 12, came to Canada from the UK. Check out her accent. That's all I'm just asking you to do, check out her accent. And she got her master's in health sciences in Toronto, got her doctor's degrees in Toronto. She is the Canadian College of Family Physicians, Canadian College of Health Services Executive. She's got a master's in the Schulich School of Business. She's one of these Renaissance women, ladies and gentlemen. I've always been impressed by her demeanor, by her determination to make this the best province to live in. Our Minister of Community and Social Services, Helena Jacek.
Well, thank you so very much, Dave, for that very kind introduction. I know Dave Lavakis, one of those members in the provincial legislature who really, really cares, not only about his riding here, Brant County, but also for vulnerable people across the province. And we've been at a couple of annual general meetings for Special Olympics together through the years, something that certainly Dave has shown his support, that wonderful organization, Special Olympics. I say that because my daughter spent some time working there as well. So Dave is someone who always tells us exactly what's happening down in Brantford. And believe me, we always listen because he knows the community so incredibly well. And what a pleasure to be here at Brantwood Community Services. Joanne and Chair of the Board, Dr. Hawk, took me on a tour. And without question, this is an unusual organization. I see so many services coming together, and opening this facility out to the community is excellent, a real model for the province. So I've learned something on my tour today about what's happening here at Brantwood. You've heard about $192,000 for capital improvements that will assist with lifts, very important in the homes, and certainly making facilities safer, more secure, and of course more sustainable. We finally do have a partner in the federal government with whom we as a province can really work. I've had the opportunity to meet the Honourable Jean-Yves Duclos on a number of occasions, sometimes very formal, federal, provincial, territorial meetings that last several days, and I've also had the opportunity to have dinner with him and to talk privately. And I know that at the federal government there is a real concern for vulnerable Ontarians, their needs for social housing. Apart from this $4.1 million announcement across the province for all the projects that are being funded, the federal ministry is also funding capital improvements for shelters for women fleeing domestic violence as well. And we've had the opportunity to make some of those announcements since this current government was elected. And so what I've come to learn about housing for vulnerable Ontarians is that no one size fits all. There's a very individualized need, especially for those with developmental disabilities. There's such a variation of need that as we transform the sector, as my ministry moves, obviously, as it did, away from institutions, the closing of the big institutions, to more group home situations, moving from sheltered workshops into employment in the community, we need to be very mindful of the individuals we're serving and their families, their caregivers, to make sure that we get the best fit possible for each individual. And that's why we have a Developmental Services Housing Task Force. We have, over the last several years, distributed some $6 million to fund 18 demonstration housing projects. Again, because of the no one-size-fits-all situation, each community has different partners with whom they can get together and provide a specific housing opportunity for those with developmental disabilities. And we're hoping that the learning from these 18 projects will enable other communities to pick up on the success of these 18. However, we also know that we have much more need. In many cases, individuals who are now living longer with developmental disabilities, have parents, sometimes in their 70s, their 80s, who've been able to care for individuals in their own home, who are now facing the reality that their loved one will need their own residence and residential supports. And so we brought together a housing forum to look at developmental services last November. And we had webinar opportunities across the province as well to really try and look at how do we ensure that we have the capacity to house the many individuals who are waiting for residential accommodation from this particular sector. And one of the interesting concepts that's come out, and I'm sure Joanne, a number of people here are aware of this, is the Intentional Communities Consortium, where there's an opportunity to provide housing, certainly not going back in any way to an institutional-like setting, but to try and co-locate people who have the same interests, perhaps in more apartment-like settings, where individuals have their own unit, but where potentially you could have economies of scale to have some communal facilities. You have this wonderful facility here with a pool and with activity rooms and so on. Given our climate, sometimes it's much more convenient to have these types of facilities close to where you actually live. So there's quite a movement looking at opportunities to develop larger scale facilities, perhaps with seniors, with other individuals that might be interested in living in such communities, as the intentional communities movement is starting to talk about. 3 years ago, my ministry received a very large funding increase, $810 million over 3 years, specifically for the developmentally disabled sector. And this was not only for housing, it was for improved salaries for the very valuable, as Dave has pointed out, developmental service workers who do the frontline care. Anyway, that was 3 years ago, and we have a budget coming up, and I keep reminding the Minister of Finance that was 3 long years ago, and it sounded like a lot of money, but the needs are still very much there. And I was very gratified to hear that he was terrified of me when I said this. So I'm just hoping that this will have I don't know, but I can tell you I've fought as hard as I can, possibly for an enhancement going forward. Because we know that while many people are supported in the community, there is always more to do. And just as Dave said, I want to thank those of you who work in this sector each and every day for the wonderful work that you do. And to see all the smiling faces here, I can tell you're just doing a wonderful job here at Brantwood, and congratulations on your $192,000.
Well, that sums up our morning, a great morning, and absolutely was an honor to be able to host you, Mr., and everybody else who came along this morning as well. I guess I was remiss in introducing, so Councillor Cheryl Antosky, right there, is here on behalf of Mayor Friel. We're sorry I missed you in the earlier introductions. All right then. So that wraps up this morning. We have some coffee and tea and refreshments in the back of the room. We would like to you to join and stay with us. And if anybody would like a tour, we would be very happy to tour you around and show you all the good things that are happening here at Brantwood. So thank you very much for coming.